Good evening. My name's Daryl Moore. I'm a resident of Green, Rhode Island, and I want to thank the committee for taking the time this evening to listen to this issue. This 274, am I on? Mic on? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yes, as long as the button's up, you're fine.
Okay. And so I'm in support of 274 and also 660. And I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now and pretty passionate about this. I'm disgusted at some of the blatant lies and the attempts of shock rhetoric that have been provided earlier by some of the anti-choice folks that you've listened to. This is a women's topic. This is not a men's topic. And yet, in the room listening are men, as well as women, but men. As we heard one of the previous speakers say, all men are created equal. He's absolutely right. We are. Women are not. We are not. The women are not. And while I do believe that freedom of choice should not ever need to have been codified, it should be an accepted basic human right. But it's been attacked by religious folks who have been less than tolerant of individual choice for many years. What happens between a woman and her medical provider is nobody else's business except between the two of them, not a politician. A woman has a sovereign right to her own body. So please keep religion and politics out of this. I believe that it's important to understand the history of abortion in the US and how we got here today. America operated under the British common law until the American Revolution. And the British common law was clear about abortions. They were legal until quickening, but the only person that knew when quickening was the woman. Nobody else, the mother. And there were no such districts. But during the 19th century, doctors were not as highly ranked as they are today, and they were competing for the increased stature among midwives, the town herbalists, unlicensed doctors, the Indian medicine man, the snake oil doctor. And to build their stature, they used the political system. And they created the licensure for medical field to abolish their perceived competition. Abortions at that time were not considered a medical procedure since they were not healing an already healthy person. However, in order to take over women's reproductive health care from the midwives, the doctors in the late 19th century campaigned to ban abortion to increase their workload delivering babies. They were successful in banning abortions. Another reason that abortion became a political football was nothing more than insecure men practicing racism. Slaveholders were concerned about their wives and their daughters having sex with slaves and wanted to be able to control their daughters and wives as property. If abortion was easily obtained from the local midwife, the slave owner may never know that his property had become pregnant. Some religious leaders adopted this view and used religion to support this view. However, the foundation of anti-choice religions is from a Bible that does not even talk about abortion. The only place in the Bible that gives value to a fetus is in the book of Exodus, chapter 21, which states that a woman who is pregnant and is hurt by another.
Apparently- Hold up,
I've
Senator
been silent
Metz.
long enough. First of all, in slavery, the men, very rarely did the slave master's wife and daughter get pregnant by a slave, because even before you even got to that, they were lynched and castrated. So don't bring that into this argument.
I am not-
we need to leave that.
I
We
am
need to
not-
leave that alone, Mr. Chairman.
I am not implying
We
that
need to
the-
leave.
I am
I
not
know
implying
about slavery. My family in Virginia was on the spec plantation. I know about the slavery. I know about my history. So don't please
I think I
don't go
misunderstood
there.
on
and
that.
then the other piece. Many people use religion wrong, incorrectly. The slave masters and maybe people do on this issue. But the whole story of it is the Second Amendment, people have religious liberty wherein people are entitled to their opinions. So please, can we have the testimony to the bill and not about slavery, where and especially totally way out the pot where you don't even know what he's talking about.
I disagree, but I think I was misunderstood on that issue, sir.
Are you through, Senator Metz?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to take
Okay, thank you. Sir, you can proceed.
Thank you. So please also note that the Christian religions that use Bible as their cornerstone for their religions, they do support a women's freedom of choice. So it is just a few churches that are not for choice. Further, while the Bible is a valuable document for people who live their lives by it, it is not the law, and women are not property. So as you can see, women's reproductive health care has been a political manipulation for special interest group gains. Nowhere in the process were women ever considered. Nowhere were the lives that would be impacted ever considered. So Rhode Island now has the opportunity to show that we value women and will give them back their rights and codify it in law, just as it had been codified going back before the 13th century. Roger Williams founded the colony of Rhode Island based upon principles of complete religious toleration, separation of church and state, and political democracy. We live in a country that was founded on the freedom of religion that came directly from Rhode Island. The inference of this religious freedom is that we are free of the requirements of another person's religion and be able to freely practice our own religion or no religion. That means that religious morality is based on the individual's religion and should not be universally applied. While I'm tolerant of other religious views about abortion being undesirable, it should not be permitted for their congregations. I feel strongly that their tenets should not be the tenets that those of us that do not follow their religion. Those religious views do not pertain to me or those of my faith or many other faiths, including many Christian faiths. So if a woman is happy with her religion and does not permit that, and it does not permit her to have an abortion, she should follow her own moral compass as it pertains to her religion and not have an abortion. She would be free to choose to keep her baby even if the time is not right, but that's between her and her church doctrine, and it's not my business or any of yours. Most of us are sexual beings, and we enjoy our sexual relations. Should we be forced to continue to overpopulate the earth? Or do we allow individuals to make their own choice as to when they believe it is the right time for them to begin a family? Who takes responsibility for raising the unwanted children if a woman is not permitted a safe and legal abortion and does not want to raise the child? Who gives them the love? Would you like to be raised with the resentment as your birthright? Should my daughters become pregnant unwillingly, I want for them to have their opportunity to evaluate with their own moral compass what they need to do for themselves. and I stand strongly against their being forced to follow laws promulgated of a religious origin that they do not subscribe to. We live in Rhode Island. Do not allow religious doctrine as the law of Rhode Island. Do not forget Roger Williams. Please do not force the women of Rhode Island to be burdened by your choice to control her reproductive freedom, should you feel differently than I. Again, please support the Reproductive Health Care Act. Thank you.